Now, here's an interesting fact about someone that is buried in the cemetery. I had never heard of this founding father. Welcome to Rachel and David's Traveling Adventures. For Rachel's birthday, I arranged for us to take a short journey to Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston is a beautiful city with a rich history, and we wanted to take in as much as we could in the short time that we would be there. Our goal for these videos is to help show you what you can see and do in Charleston, even if you're only here for a day. Along the way, we hope to share some history, information, and tips about these different locations in case you want to visit them yourself. In part 1, we started our trip by going out to eat at the Swamp Fox restaurant at the Francis Marion Hotel. The next morning, we did a couple side trips to Fort Moultrie and Fort Sumter. Finally, we ended part 1 by eating lunch at a Waffle House that was featured in Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain. That place was a hoot. In parts 2 and 3, we are going to move into downtown Charleston, park our car, spend the rest of our day walking throughout the city. In part 2, we will visit the old historic market along with a couple old churches and get a snack and some drinks along the way. If you get something out of this video, please hit the like button below. Now, when this trip was planned, it was planned specifically to hit Charleston in the fall when temperatures have a high of the middle to low 70s and lows in the 60s. If you go to Charleston in the summer, the temperature highs range between 87 and 91. However, on this afternoon in Charleston in October, the high reached 88. I can't believe it's almost 90 degrees in Charleston in the middle of October. Your best bet for parking is to find a public parking garage. In the public parking garages, parking rates are $1 per half hour with an $18 max per day. We parked 1 block from the old historical market as it was close to both the start of our walking journey downtown and the restaurant that we had reservations for later in the evening. Because of the heat, we could also come back to the car before dinner, pick up some clothes to change into if necessary. Our first stop in Charleston proper on this hot and muggy day is the old historic Charleston City Market. One of the principal authors and signers of the United States Constitution, Charles Pinckney, gave the land where the market stands to the city for the express use as a market from that point on. The current structure was completed in 1841. Its architect, Edward White, designed it to pay homage to the Temple of the Wingless Victory in Athens, Greece. Today, the market is recognized as one of the oldest markets in America. There is no cost to visit the market unless you purchase items inside. Spanning 4 city blocks, the market boasts a wide collection of souvenirs, art, jewelry, and the regionally popular sweetgrass baskets. There are also food vendors here, so you can easily have a wonderful afternoon here. With over 300 local merchants, there are plenty of items here to peruse and enjoy. Pay special attention to the vendors that display a tile that says Certified Authentic, Handmade in Charleston. This indicates that those products are 100% created right here in Charleston. Here's another tip. Usually hanging all around the market are boys making flowers out of sweetgrass reeds. They're going to try to give them to you for some money. Inside the market there are signs that state that you don't have to pay them for the flowers. It is your choice to take the flower or not, or to pay them even if you take the flower. The market is generally open from 9:30 to 5:30, Sunday through Saturday, with the exception of Sunday closing at 5. On Fridays and Saturdays, the market is also open from 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 at night. The Charleston arts and crafts scene is vibrant, so you don't want to miss this stop. While Rachel continued shopping at the market, I did a little walking around and looking at different sites near the market. This building really caught my interest. Right behind the market, you can find this beautiful building. It is the United States Custom House. The architect was selected as part of a design competition, with the winning prize being $300. Of course, the losing architects didn't do too bad either. They received $200 for their entry. The winning architect, Amy Young, designed this building with both Roman and Greek elements throughout. The building was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1974. According to the National Park Service, the Custom House is not open to the public, but it would be worth it just to walk around and admire the architecture, if you like that kind of stuff. I would love to see more of this building, but this one will have to wait to another visit. After walking the length of the market from front to back to front, along with my little excursion, we started walking around the French Quarter and beyond. Located in the original walled city, this area of Charleston became known as the French Quarter in 1973 because of the high concentration of French merchants throughout the history of the city. It was also listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1973. One of the things that Rachel and I like to do is to visit old, interesting churches in places that we visit, and I especially like to walk through a graveyard to look at unique or extremely old gravestones. Church steeples dot the Charleston skyline. Since the 1700s, Charleston has been known for its religious tolerance. The city boasts dozens of church steeples, as well as historic synagogues. People from all over the world came to Charleston for religious freedom. You will find several different Protestant denominations in addition to Roman Catholic congregations here. This may be one of the reasons that Charleston's nickname is the Holy City. While we were walking, we came to two churches that were very close to one another. The first church is St. Philip's Church. The congregation was established in 1681. St. Philip's is the oldest European American religious church in South Carolina. The current church was built in 1836. And there are several notable burials within the grounds, including John Calhoun, the 7th Vice President of the United States, Charles Pinckney, one of the signers of the United States Constitution, and Edward Rutledge, who is a member of the Continental Congress and one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Now here's an interesting fact about someone that is buried in the cemetery. I had never heard of this founding father. Christopher Gadsden, who is buried here, was a lieutenant governor for South Carolina, but he was also a principal leader of the South Carolina Patriotic Movement. In addition, he designed the Gadsden flag bearing the picture of a coiled snake and the words, "Don't tread on me." This is one of the most iconic flags of the American Revolution. In addition, St. Philip's Anglican is on the National Registry of Historic Places and is a National Historic Landmark. On the day that we were here, we were unable to visit the church, but I sure did enjoy walking around the cemetery. The other church that's right next to St. Philip's Anglican Church is the French Huguenot Church, or French Protestant Church. The Huguenots were French Protestants in the 16th and 17th centuries who followed the teachings of John Calvin. At this time in history, France held a Catholic government and the Huguenots were persecuted. Many Huguenots fled France in the 17th century. Huguenots were attracted to South Carolina because of the promise of cheap land, commercial opportunities, and religious freedom. As a side note, my 7 times great-grandfather, Jacques Sanxi, was a French Huguenot pastor who fled to England in 1685. His grandson later came to the American colonies in 1773. Now back to the church. The Gothic Revival architectural style church is located at 136 Church Street. The church was built in 1844, but the congregation goes back to the 1680s. This is the only remaining Huguenot church in America. As with some of the other locations that we have visited, the French Huguenot Church is on both the National Registry for Historic Places and is a National Historic Landmark. If you know of any other churches that are must-go-tos in Charleston, please let us know in the comments below and hit that like button if you've gotten anything out of this video. At this point, we needed to go inside and cool down and get something to drink. I pulled out my phone and looked at the Yelp app to see what was close to us. Right near us was the Barbados Room Restaurant within the Mills House Wyndham Grand Hotel. Rachel had a cocktail and I had a local beer. On a whim, we ordered some pimento cheese and crackers. Oh my, they were so good. We were now cooled down and were ready to take on the rest of our personal walking tour. As you can see, there's a lot to pack in when you go to Charleston even for a day, and we're not even done yet. On part 3 of our day in Charleston, we will finish off our walking tour by going to such places as Rainbow Row, the oldest liquor store in America, and the Old Slave Mart. We will also enjoy dinner in one of the highest rated restaurants in the city. Leave a comment below about what you think of Charleston or if you have any further advice. If you got any value out of this video, please smash that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again on our next adventure.